What if Darth Vader repaired his body and reached his full potential? For 20 years, Darth Vader's power was held back. More machine than man, his potential was stunted by the fires of Mustafar and the weight of his life support suit. George Lucas himself has stated that, after his injuries, Vader was left with roughly 80% of the Emperor's power, a far cry from the prophecy that he would one day be twice as powerful. But what if Vader found a way to overcome this? What if he managed to heal himself and unlock the full power he was always meant to have? Let's explore what would happen. The suit Palpatine designed for Vader wasn't just a life support system. It was a prison, one that kept him in constant pain and, more importantly, kept his power in check. Vader felt this limitation with every strained breath and every clumsy, cybernetically driven movement. Inside the privacy of his meditation chamber, he would try to push past these limits. Drawing on his boundless hatred, he would turn the dark side inward, attempting to heal his own body. In the Legends continuity, he would even have brief moments of success. For a few agonizing seconds, his scarred lung tissue would regenerate, allowing him to take a single, unaided breath. However, the momentary relief he felt from this would disrupt his focus on the pure hatred the dark side required, and the healing would collapse, plunging him back into his painful reality. This repeated failure was a constant source of frustration. He, the Chosen One, couldn't seem to master this aspect of the Force. This torment drove him to search for other solutions in ancient Sith lore. He researched Darth Plagueis, his master's own teacher, who was obsessed with manipulating midi-chlorians. While the secrets to cheating death eluded him, he found inspiration in another dark art: cloning. He recalled the planet Camino and his own dark experiments there, creating clones of his secret apprentice, Starkiller. While those clones had been unstable, Vader now possessed knowledge he didn't have back then: the forbidden sorcery of the Sith. A new idea began to form. He wouldn't just heal his broken body, he would discard it and forge a new one. Vader began this project on the volcanic world of Mustafar. His fortress was built on a powerful dark side nexus, and he planned to use its raw energy for his work. Using salvaged Kaminoan technology and a DNA sample from his former life as Anakin Skywalker, he started the cloning process. Just like his earlier experiments, the first results were disastrous. The sheer midi-chlorian density in the Chosen One's genetic code made the clones incredibly unstable, and their bodies quickly degraded into mindless monsters. This time, however, Vader had a plan for this. He didn't just grow the clones in a tank. He actively infused the entire process with Sith alchemy. He used his rage and the energy from the Nexus to guide their growth, stabilizing their cellular structure with pure, focused hatred. He wasn't just making a copy. He was forging a perfect vessel, an idealized version of Anakin Skywalker in his physical prime, but completely empty and waiting for a new consciousness. After months of this grueling process, one clone emerged perfect. It was him, as he was before the fire, before the pain, before the suit. Through a Sith technique known as essence transfer, the same power his own master would later use to cheat death, Vader poured his consciousness, his memories, his hate, and his 20 years of suffering into the new body. In the cold silence of his fortress, the wheezing cybernetic form of Darth Vader slumped lifelessly. And from the cloning tank, a new, perfected Vader was reborn. The first sensation was air. Real, unfiltered air filling lungs that worked perfectly. There was no mechanical rasp, just the silent rhythm of breathing. He looked at his hands, 2 hands of flesh and blood. The power that flowed through him was no longer a trickle, filtered through layers of cybernetics and pain. It was a raging flood. The full, untamed potential of the Chosen One, honed by 2 decades of Sith discipline, was finally his to command. To test his new limits, he reached out with the Force, not just to lift a rock, but to tear a derelict Star Destroyer from the orbit of Mustafar, crushing it into a sphere of scrap metal with a mere thought. His lightsaber skills also returned to their peak. He no longer fought with the brute strength of a cyborg, but with the fluid, deadly grace of the Jedi killer he once was, now amplified by a perfect connection to the Force. He thought back to his old suit, not with relief, but with cold fury. He saw it for what it truly was, a leash, a cage built by Palpatine to keep his prized attack dog from ever turning on its master. Palpatine had always known what he was capable of and had deliberately kept him broken, weak, and dependent. The Sith rule of two dictated that the apprentice would one day supplant the master, and Vader knew that day had finally come. Vader doesn't plot in secret. He takes his personal starship and flies directly to the heart of the Empire, Coruscant. As he walks through the halls of the Imperial Palace, his presence is a silent wave in the Force that sends tremors of fear through the crimson-robed royal guards. They don't dare stop him. He enters the Emperor's throne room. Palpatine turns, his yellow eyes widening for a fraction of a second in shock before his face twists into a smile. "Lord Vader," he hissed, "you have undergone a transformation." He attempts to claim this as his own doing, a final test that Vader had passed. But Vader is no longer the conflicted apprentice. The leash is broken. Vader's voice, now his own, echoes in the chamber. There is only one master of the dark side. The confrontation that follows is a storm of power. Palpatine unleashes a torrent of Force lightning, the same power that had crippled Vader's old suit. But this time, the new Vader simply raises a hand, catching the arcs of pure hatred and dissipating them into nothing. Their telekinetic battle shatters the transparent steel windows of the throne room. Finally, their blades meet. It is a battle between two incredibly powerful Force users. But Palpatine, for all his cunning, is facing something he had spent 2 decades trying to prevent: the full potential of the Chosen One. Vader's power is raw, focused, and overwhelming. He doesn't just match his master, he dominates him. He breaks through Palpatine's guard, disarms him, and holds him suspended in the air with the Force. Helpless. There is no hesitation, no conflict, only the cold certainty of power. Vader closes his fist, and the reign of Darth Sidious ends, not with a thunderous explosion, but with a choked silence. With Palpatine gone, Emperor Vader takes the throne. His rule is one of absolute, terrifying order. Where Palpatine's tyranny was often chaotic, Vader's is brutally efficient. The galaxy, which had groaned under the old regime, and is now silenced by an iron fist. The rebellion is no longer an ideological struggle. It is a pest to be exterminated, and Vader hunts them with a ruthless efficiency that Palpatine could only have dreamed of. The broken man in the suit is gone, replaced by a dark god with unchallenged power. He brought peace to the galaxy. But it's the peace of the tomb, enforced by the will of one man who had finally achieved his terrible destiny. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments what you think would have happened, and we'll see you next time.